hair?
Wow. Yeah, it grew a little bit. So
Yeah, and Sophie, Sophia
Sophia.
or Sophia?
Yeah,
Sophia also.
either one.
Sophia.
Nice to see you again. Very excited to have you today. We honestly, when we were coming up with our calendar, we were like, Bea, we need her again. We cannot avoid having one less of our favorite guest speakers. So
Okay.
so we had to have you back. Bea's actually going to run the meeting again, like last time. And so I'm going to kind of toss it over to her. Bea, how are you
Thank
doing?
you.
Are you excited?
Yes, I'm really excited to have you back here. And for starters, can you tell us a little bit about your background in journalism and radio, that it's like your main journalism area?
And can you pronounce your name first, just so us
Yeah.
Americans know how to say it?
Yeah, everybody asked me that. I think you'd like to call me Lenize, something like this,
Probably.
right?
Probably. I would
Yeah,
say
but
Lenize.
Lenize, yes, that's nice, totally. I have some PowerPoint here with me. Can I share with you?
Yes, of course. So give me 1 second.
I made something here.
Go
because
ahead.
my background is there, Bia.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, nice.
Let's see if I can do this. Okay. Yeah, just a moment, please. Just a moment.
No problem. So as she kind of gets started, if you guys can kind of like think about different questions or stuff, she's going to be talking about international journalism. And so she is super knowledgeable. There is a slight language barrier, but that's why we have Bea, because she's super awesome with
Official translator.
yes, she is. So there, just in case she doesn't answer your question right away, that's the only thing that's going to be happening. So just letting you guys know. But questions, she's awesome, extremely knowledgeable. I would highly suggest asking as many questions, because you never know, guys, you might be working internationally one day.
Yeah.
In fact, I have some issues here to share the screen, but I'm not going to give up.
We can see your screen already.
Yeah, we could see your screen, actually.
Yeah,
yes. So let's change it for this one. And now you are seeing that?
Yes.
Yes, the PowerPoint, right?
And any questions you guys also have, you could type in the chat too, and Bea can read them out as well.
Oh, are you seeing that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm not seeing, okay? I see in different ways. So I'm very happy to be here today. I want to bring some issues we can do as a journalist in the world and here in Brazil. And that's why I made this little presentation to explain what I think about, okay? So reporting from another country during COVID-19, I'm Lenize or Lenize, that's all. It's okay for me, it's okay. Who am I? Journalist, public relations, and university professor. I was a visiting scholar at CSUN, State University of New York in Albany, in the second semester of 2019. I have my PhD in education, arts, and culture history. I work as a professor in the disciplines sound media, journalism, advertising, broadcasting. I have experience as a journalist in functions as reporter, writer, head of reporting, announcer of informative programs. And nowadays, my main focus are about theoretical and practical research and audiovisual communication, radio journalism, culture, history culture, citizenship, cultural journalism, and this segment. What I wanted to share with you guys this night is about this. If you want to know, if you are the right person to do this, I'm just saying that you have to ask yourself. So, am I a curious person? Okay, if you are a journalist, you're always a curious person. But if you want to work abroad, if you want to work in a different country, you have to be very, very curious. What do I know about culture besides America? I think this is very important because sometimes you only know about your own history and you need to know more. You need to know what's going on around. So I think it's something very, very important. Am I easy to fit in different places and among different people? Because when you go abroad, you are going to meet different places and different people. Are you a easy person, something like this, or do you have problems with in this new world? I don't know. Another question, am I ready to learn different languages? Okay, I think something you have to ask yourself. If you have said yes to all these questions, so I wrote here, you're ready to travel abroad. No, it's just some tips, something like this. But to where and why? That's why I was wondering. Countries that have English as a mother language. English is the native mother. And let me do something here. Okay. English is the native mother tongue of Britain, Ireland, USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and some Caribbean countries. But you know, if you don't want to go in one of these countries, if you don't want to go to New Zealand or Canada or Australia, you want to have some new discovery, you want something new, a new discovery in your life, you can go to other countries. So this is como é que é a tabela mesmo?
This table.
Yes, this table, thank you, Bia. So this table, it means that English is the most language talked in the world, right? There is the 1.1 million people. After Mandarin, Chinese, then Hindi is like Hindu, India. Spanish is the fourth. French is the fifth. Arabic is the sixth. 7, 8 Russian, 9th Portuguese. So Portuguese, we are in the 9th place in this table, okay? I don't know if you guys have this, if you know about this, how many people speak English in the world, which are the other languages that are talked a lot in the world besides English, something like this, okay? This is what I meant here. I wrote about some stereotypes also. I think it's common in America, in Brazil, in a lot of places, something like this. I don't know if you are going to agree with me. Mexico, dramatic soap operas, in American, in English films, American movies, you always make some mentions of, oh, super operas, Mexico, they are always dramatic, something like this. And Mexico is also good for vacations. Central America, I think we hear a lot about hurricanes, right? Latin America, Colombia, drugs, we hear that a lot, drugs. FARC is something very, it's not FARC is, do you know what FARC means? It's they are not regular policemen. They work over the policeman regulations. You know, they're not legal, FARC. And Sofia Vergara, maybe you know her because she is one of the stars of Modern Family, sitcom that was on air in America. Things that we hear a lot. Buenos Aires is the capital of Brazil. I heard that in the United States. No, Buenos Aires is the capital of Argentina. Chile, very good wines, as California. Chile has very good wines also. Brazil, we hear a lot of Amazonia, Carnival, Rio. You know, I heard from a Chinese tourist once I was in Europe. I don't remember now. I'm from Brazil. He couldn't understand what I was talking about. So I talked to him. Oh, Brazil, Brazil. Oh, you meant Rio because of the Olympics, you know? You meant Rio. Rio is now the country, you know?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I heard that. So this is some of the stereotypes we used to hear a lot. Here, news about Brazil 2021. We have Amazonia, deforestation. Yeah, I think you heard that a lot. Rio, beautiful view, but violent place. I heard that in California when I went to Warner Brothers to make the visitation, you know, in the place, Warner Brothers. I heard from another woman, oh, Rio is good, but it's violent, you know, something like this. São Paulo, I think you don't hear a lot of São Paulo. You hear from Rio, but not from São Paulo. São Paulo is where we are now, me and Bia. And this is the most important and economical city of the country. This is the very important one, but I don't think you hear that a lot from São Paulo. Rio, Amazonia, not São Paulo. And when I was in CSUN, I heard about a lot in the radio station about Jair Bolsonaro. You say Bolsonaro, right? Jair Bolsonaro. So what do you hear about Jair Bolsonaro, our president? Very close to Donald Trump. It happened a lot. He took over a month to congratulate Joe Biden from his victory. He called COVID-19 as a little flu. He dismissed 2 health ministers in 2 months in a row. And he systematically attacks press professionals. I don't know what you hear that, but it's something that happens a lot outside here from Brazil.
Before you keep going, Lenize, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You talked about stereotypes of a lot of places here in America. And I was wondering if you could talk to us about how these stereotypes influence reporting.
Yeah, this is very dangerous, you know, because as I'm showing now here, Mexico is more than soap operas and vacations, and also hurricanes from Central America, and also Colombia, Argentina, Chile, sorry, and Brazil. I think that in the very first moment, you hear these kind of stereotypes here in Brazil or in America, because I heard that when I wasn't here in Brazil, right? But I think it's something you have to think about, because this is the first clue you are going to find about these places and people. But maybe this is not the real situation. This is the very first conselho, advice?
Advice, yeah.
Yeah. This is an advice for you guys. You have to be very, very careful to stereotypes. Before I go on, you can only speak. You don't have to. I'm not seeing the chat, okay? I just see you guys. What else do you know about Mexico than this that I wrote here. What else can you remember right now about Mexico? And you are very close to Mexico, right? California is very close to Mexico.
Yeah, are you talking about just in general or news?
General.
I mean, a lot of people think of Mexico, they think of tacos, burritos, Cancun, to go to spring break for Cancun or different visits like that. But also the political stance between America and Mexico, and
The border.
The wall that Trump was kind of talking about as well, that they were trying to build the wall in between Mexico and America, and all of the immigrants that die every year, but also get captured at the border as well.
And about the news, something happened yesterday in Mexico, very, 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 it was called as a tragedy. Have you heard?
Are you referring to the boat that capsized off the coast?
It could be, but I was talking about the train crash. Haven't heard about that?
Oh, the
subway crash.
The metro link that capsized.
Yeah, it took I think more than 30 people are dead because of this accident. It happened yesterday. It was in Mexico City, I suppose, and it was about the subway. What I mean is answering to Bia. As Mexico, as Brazil, I think at the first news or in general you hear, they are commonly not very good things, you know. What else do we have in this place? So stereotypes are really, really.
What's unfortunate about Mexico, though, is a lot of the journalists are suppressed, and they are not allowed to be reporting as much as they would like. And so a lot of journalists in Mexico and in other places that are, it's very dangerous for journalists to kind of be in that area. And so it kind of sucks because the political aspect of it kind of gets in the way. And so the government wants journalists to be reporting a certain way, and that's not necessarily journalism anymore at that point. But that's what kind of sucks about Mexico, that aspect of journalism. Not that they don't have journalists, but just their news isn't accurate as much when it comes to like more investigative reporting and different things like that.
Yeah, here in Brazil, we have a situation also with Jair Bolsonaro. Once he is always attacking press professionals, international or here, us from Brazil. And what you talked about, Sofia, was about democracy and dictatorship, right? Yeah, this is the difference.
And I have quite a few family and friends that live in Mexico, especially Mexico City, and they don't appreciate their president, and it has been very difficult. And there has been a lot of like protests and different things, especially in Mexico City, because that's like their biggest city and that's the most populated area in Mexico. So it has been difficult for people to kind of been speaking up more.
Okay. I chose some videos to show you guys. Let's see if I get it.
But a question, actually, would you say that stereotypes influence the way people report?
Yes, but I'm going to, okay, I'm back. Yes, I think it's something as a journalist, we have to be very, very careful about, because if you don't make a point, or if you don't really think more and read more and talk to native people, you can fall to this situation. Yes, stereotype is very, very dangerous. Yes. How can you not be in this situation? I'm going, if I can, show you some reporting. You have to talk to native people. I think you have to be in the country. You can be a correspondent.
A correspondent, yes.
Yes. You have to do like what we call immersion, immersion. You have to live, to talk, and to eat the same thing as people around you. Then you are going to understand what's going on. Let me try to show you this.
I love that what you just said. I love that quote. That is so powerful to kind of talk about how you said you have to literally live the way Native people are living in order to really understand the dynamic.
Yeah.
And I
I'm
think
looking for, okay, you can talk.
Sorry. And I think that that kind of says a lot about other countries too as well. If America is looking at another country or vice versa, we don't completely understand exactly what is happening in that environment because we're not technically there.
About Amazonia, I have never been there. Have you ever been there, Bia?
No.
Okay, I just went to a city that was in the middle of Amazonia. It's called Belém and Manaus, two big cities here in Brazil.
Oh yeah, I have family there.
And we took the plane, and the plane passed over Amazonia,
Yeah.
And it was 1998. You guys were not here. And I remember when I was in this plane that I was talking to myself, come on, it has been more than 10 minutes and we are still flowing or flying over Amazonia. It took a lot. I was in a Boeing. It took a lot. So it was my first and unique contact with Amazonia in this sense. But it impressed me a lot because it was very, very, very big, huge, something like this. And I was kind of excited because, oh my God, it's Amazonia that I hear, I read about. So it was something like this, I would like to show you these guys. If you wanna get some 2 words that I have said till now, I would say stereotypes, be careful, right? And immersion. Immersion, this is what I'm talking about, to live and be there with people. I think is the solution for this situation, okay? Let me, okay. What are you seeing now, guys?
Nothing. You stop it sharing. You need to do it again.
Share screen. Share. Okay. Now.
We can see a mask.
Yeah. I don't want to use the mask. I want something else. Okay.
We see a man.
Yeah.
Just a moment. Are you hearing something?
No.
No?
No. It's very low. I could sort of hear something.
This is not what I want. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Just a moment. We need to be more than the computer. Just a moment.
Maybe try
Oh my God.
a seta de voltar. Porque o link tá como se fosse o das unhas. Isso.
Just a moment. I'm going to win the technology. Just a moment.
No problem. Technology is sometimes hard.
Yeah. Now I have to. Okay, I found it. Okay. Now I have to share it.
One-time bus driver Alexandre Trajano was one of Brazil's 12 million unemployed. That is until the soaring death toll caused by the coronavirus pandemic.
Are you listening?
Really low.
Very
Low.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very.
Just a moment.
Try the Zoom sound.
What about now? O que você falou, Bia?
Tenta, quando você compartilha a tela, acho que do lado tem um negócio escrito para compartilhar o volume do computador.
Yes.
Ou só tenta aumentar também. Sorry, guys. It was a little
We are
bit.
trying to solve the problem.
No, that's okay. Trust me, I understand.
You know, Bia, this.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not showing this.
the subtitles.
But it's so nice. Just a moment. Where? How? Who?
Are you able to put the link in the chat and then I could share my screen?
Maybe.
Maybe that would help.
Okay, chat. You know, I'm not in the chat, but I'm going to find it. Yeah. No. Chat. Found it. Let's see if you are luckier than me.
Let's see.
I think you need to stop sharing so Sofia can open her screen, right?
Can you
Stop share? Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great.
That is until the soaring death toll caused by the coronavirus pandemic landed him a job as a gravedigger at the São Gonçalo Cemetery on the outskirts of Rio de Janeiro.
We had to recruit 30 undertakers to cope with the growing amount of burials and
Oh, I'm sorry.
build a separate area just for infected bodies.
Alexandre works in the COVID-19 sector, designed especially for the victims of the virus.
The most painful part is witnessing the farewell, which is different from any other. People want to say goodbye to their loved ones, but we can't allow them to get near.
Brazil's COVID death toll keeps growing, in part because the government is encouraging Brazilians not to stay home while failing to take measures to stop the virus from reaching even remote parts of the Amazon. Despite evidence to the contrary, President Jair Bolsonaro continues questioning the seriousness of the pandemic and scorns WHO guidelines, such as the need for widespread testing and using face masks. As a result, many here are skeptical about the official number of deaths, like Lilia Dillon, who does her morning exercises in front of the emblematic Maracanã football stadium, now converted into a field hospital.
I never saw anyone coming in or out of this hospital, so I don't know if this story was made up or if politicians have just been using the pandemic to steal money.
This is one of the 5 field hospitals of Rio de Janeiro that are being dismantled. Some of them were not even completed. The state health secretary and his deputy are in jail for allegedly misusing the funds that were given to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. And the governor is about to be impeached on corruption charges. Back at the cemetery, 53-year-old Moisés Americano is about to be buried. His family is obliged to stay far away, almost unable to see the casket being sealed off.
Unfortunately, my brother-in-law has just become one more statistic, buried in a 5-minute ceremony. The anonymity gives the false impression that nothing is going on, but I think the real numbers of deaths are even higher than the official statistic.
And although the president and a third of his cabinet have tested positive for coronavirus, critics say a deadly combination of corruption and a refusal to confront the pandemic head-on will continue filling Brazil's graveyards. Monica Yanakiev, Al Jazeera, Rio de Janeiro.
Okay.
I will stop sharing.
Okay. And then, okay. Okay, just a moment here.
I didn't know that they were not allowing people to go to the funerals or even get anywhere close, which is extremely upsetting.
Yeah, this is something that is happening since this reporting has been made some month ago, but yes, it's still happening. Unfortunately, I lost someone close last week and this week.
Whoa.
And this is happening in the same way. You can't be more than an hour during the funeral, and you can't, and only 10 people are allowed to be there. So if you have a family with over 30, 40 people, you can't be there. Only 10 people can be there around the funeral. This is something really, really, really sad that is happening here.
That's really unfortunate. I'm so sorry about your loss too.
Yeah, friend of mine and something like this. To finish my PowerPoint presentation, yes. I have another one, Sofia. Would you like to share?
Sure.
It's just a moment. No, this one. Just one more, and it's okay.
Yeah.
No. Okay, this is the guy. I found the CNN coverage. Just a moment, please.
No problem.
CNN.
But for everyone else, while you kind of work on that, just to kind of take in, if you guys noticed, the reporter was really doing her due diligence and going to the Amazon and also going around Rio and asking the native people who work there, who live there as well, and the people who are actually like working for the burial site. I'm not sure if they're working for the government, but she kind of like tried to bring in every single perspective of reporting internationally. And I don't know if she's from America, or I don't know. I've never heard of that reporter before, but she did really good journalism within that piece and kind of like trying to tell each aspect of the story.
Yeah, I think she's not Brazilian. I think she's from Al Jazeera, the Arabic TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's from there. She's not Brazilian. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jesse. Bringing up that the Nat sound had multiple languages in it.
Okay.
But Al Jazeera, they cover a lot of international news as well.
But you know, she was here in Rio and she was in the places, right? So it's very important to be there. She talked to people, she went to these places. It was very important to the reporting, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh, I found one. Let's just see here. It's a guy, he was in the street. I don't know if I'm going to find it here. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
One more try. I put like reporting COVID-19 Brazil CNN. Oh yeah, I think I found it. Yeah, I found it. Let's try to share.
Okay.
If I don't get it, I'll send it to you.
Sounds good.
Are you seeing something?
No, you have
No. Okay. I have to share, I know, but I have a lot of stuff here. Yeah, now I found it. Share screen. Are you hearing a child crying?
Sort of.
Yeah, it's my neighbor. Sorry, my bad. Oh, she's 2 years old and she's very strong when she cries.
Oh.
Okay, let me try, okay? Are you seeing now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's see if it happens. Are you listening to that?
Really low.
So, Sophia, I'm going to send it to you.
Okay.
It's better, I suppose. And chat.
It might just be the settings on your Zoom.
It's there.
Well, in Brazil, sadly, another record-setting day with COVID-19 running wild and the country's healthcare system collapsing under the weight of the pandemic. More than 100,000 COVID-19 cases were recorded on Thursday alone, exacerbating an already dire situation. Intensive care units are facing critical shortages from oxygen to medicines necessary to intubate severe cases. And we're now learning Brazil's private hospitals could run out of other medicines used to treat COVID-19 patients in just a matter of days. CNN's Matt Rivers joins us now from Sao Paulo. Matt, it certainly is heartbreaking day after day. And what you're seeing there now, not only intensive care units just completely full, but oxygen running out.
Yeah, you know, Linda, we've been here now in Brazil reporting for a little over 2 weeks. And when we first got here 2 weeks ago, I think the system was beginning to collapse. I think now, 2 weeks later, in many, many places across this country, the healthcare system has collapsed. There's no other way to describe that. You mentioned the amount of cases that were recorded yesterday, the single highest number in a single day since this pandemic began. The Private Hospital Association here in Brazil say they're going to run out of anesthetics used to treat COVID-19 patients within the next 3 or 4 days. The signs just keep mounting. I want to show our viewers a couple of clips here. I want to start with a clip of some ambulances. This was footage given to us by a source here in Brazil. And what you can see is there are 12 ambulances waiting outside of a hospital in Sao Paulo, all of them with patients inside. They are waiting because the hospital will not accept patients. And this is happening all across this city. Ambulances respond to calls. They have nowhere to go. If hospitals aren't accepting patients, that means the system has collapsed. I want to show you another clip from inside of a hospital in the federal district here in Brazil, where the federal government is. In this video, you can see an oxygen tube that is literally being run from one window across an open courtyard into another room. The reason that's happening is because on the other side, that's where the oxygen source is. But there are so many patients in the room where the oxygen is that they can't fit any more patients in there, so they have to put patients in another hallway. The only way they can get oxygen from the source to the patient is by running oxygen tubes out of windows. That is the kind of thing that is happening all across this country right now. ICU occupancy rates in nearly every single Brazilian state are at or above 80%. Many of them have simply collapsed. This has been the trend over the past few weeks, Linda. And unfortunately, you talk to people here in Brazil, no one really believes we've hit the peak yet in this country. In other words, the worst days of this pandemic could be yet to come.
It is a horrifying prospect. And right.
So I'm going to pause it right there, just because we are kind of running out of time. But I think that was good that, I mean, he's literally showing the footage. That I don't know if he said that part of it somebody had given him, but he's there. Like, he's literally in Brazil. Oh, you're on mute.
You're muted.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, he's here in some street or avenue here in São Paulo. He was talking live to USA, okay, and he was talking about his impressions about the country and what he has seen in the past 2 weeks. He was here, right? Something like this. And the footage and the clips that he says, he got from sources. So I think the third word that we could check in our list to reporting and covering abroad, you have to get your local sources. So he has something that nobody me lembra aí, Bia, que ninguém mais tem, nobody has.
Yeah.
Nobody has. So I think that you have to cultivate, I don't know if it's this verb, but you have to find out your own sources and where you are. And he got these clips from these sources.
Have you reported something during this pandemic or no?
No, I haven't. I have seen a lot from our colleagues, right? I have heard a lot, I have watching a lot, but not in field, as you could say that. But you know, as a Brazilian, I sometimes I really feel very bad, because when international press, when they cover about what is happening here in Brazil, is always about bad issues, you know, not good issues. I think that sure, COVID-19 is happening around the world. We cannot, we have to face that, that's okay. But I think that this reporting from CNN took over 10 minutes. I'd like that Brazil would have this same amount of minutes of time for good stuff, you know, not only for bad stuff. This is what it really bothers me. And I don't know, this guy, Matt Rivers, right? I don't know if he is reporting something else here in Brazil besides COVID-19, but I really hope that he can make another kind of reporting from here.
You say that there is just like this bad perspective about bad issues about the countries. So what advice would you give to someone who wants to report about Brazil, like here, come from the United States to Brazil and starts reporting, or any other place internationally?
You know, that's a very good question, Bia. The guy from CNN, he talked that he was living here around 2 weeks, right?
Yes.
This is very, very few time to be into the society. Okay, he's living here, he's walking the streets, but I think 2 weeks, it's really not the time that's really necessary. I think he can be ele pode ser trapaceado porque ele ainda está aqui há pouco tempo. Como é que você diria isso em inglês?
He can get like easily mistaken about something due the short time he's in the country.
Yeah. An advice that I would give it to you guys, I think you have to live at least a month in a country to understand how it works. It happened to me in Albany. I had to live there over a month to understand how the city worked, how the university used it to work, and then I started to do my research. I think if I had went to SUNY in the week I have arrived and started doing stuff, I think people would not be very comfortable with that. You have to be another device for reporting abroad. I think the main step for you guys when you are abroad and you want to report something, I think you're read when you report something and you are not noticed. I'm going to explain. I think that you are really, really a good reporter and abroad where you are, okay? When you are walking the streets, when you are talking to people and they don't notice and don't see you like a foreigner, you know? They already see you as someone in the society that is always there talking to them, drinking coffee. You know, we drink coffee a lot here in Brazil, and drinking coffee, something like this. From this guy from CNN, I think, I don't know you guys, you are students. I think he spoke what was written maybe in the international agencies. I don't know in what he was talking about. And for real, he talking to Brazilian people, I haven't seen that, you see? I think he made a speech from the agencies like Reuters and others one, and he got some clips like he did, but I don't, it could be more
like
profitable.
The previous video.
Yeah, profitable if he was really talking to someone in Brazil, like the first reporting that the woman was talking with the sources, you know. I think it's really it makes the difference, you know, between the reportings. I don't know what you guys think about this.
No, and I definitely agree too as well, and anybody else can chime in. I don't think that he was, I mean, even if I were to go to like a one of the middle states in America, and I never spoke to anybody in Alabama that actually lived there, but I was just talking about what their city had released, and I was just saying, oh, this is what had happened. It's not really getting all of the angles or perspectives of the story that's happening. And so maybe if he had spoken to a Brazilian that was actually living there, going through the pandemic, and that has been living there throughout this entire year, it might have made a difference, or it might have changed the story slightly while he was reporting.
Although I must say that in the first reporting from the woman in Rio, okay, she talked to people in Brazil, but about the government, she was using footage also, right? A professional footage. She didn't have a speech from government source here in Brazil, right? In her first, in her reporting, we didn't see that also.
That is true.
Yeah. Does anyone have any more questions? Because right now it's like 6 o'clock and we usually end the meeting around this time because of classes, work, and etc. If you guys have any questions.
Please ask me some final question.
So
okay.
I had a, oh, sorry. I had a couple different questions as well. What kind of, can you describe, getting off of, I guess, politics, can you kind of talk about a little bit of the main difference between American storytelling when it comes to like reporting versus Brazilian storytelling when it comes to reporting? I have noticed when I have watched more of the more of just foreign reporting in general, but also in Brazil, it seems that, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems that some of the reporters are more emotional and more, I don't know how to describe, like more using their hands and kind of like being more verbal than it comes to like actual, like American journalism is sometimes monotoned and we don't really express a lot of emotions.
No, here in Brazil, we express a lot. Even though the anchor expresses itself a lot. Yeah, we express a lot here in Brazil. This is something really different here.
Can you kind of talk about why? What is the, is it more of a connection to the audience, or is that something that's kind of taught when you're in school?
Oh, I think it's not about the connection, but here, and this is an invite for you guys to come here in Brazil someday and stay at the Bia's house.
Okay, you guys are welcome.
I would say to you guys that we are like we are different. We say that we are Latin. We have a Latin blood, but we are from Portugal, and Portugal, it's different. We always express what we are thinking, and we hug, we touch a lot. This is something very, very common here in Brazil. So it kind of went to the news, you know, news couldn't be that thing very forward. Yeah, still, it couldn't be. It doesn't work here.
Yeah, I remember your radio classes, even if like people couldn't see us because it was radio, it was just audio, we would be like expressing our feelings with our hands and etc.
And if you say smiling, the voice sounds
yeah.
better and easier, and you know, it's something that really happens.
Yeah.
Could I to end? I don't know, but could I share the last topic?
Sure.
Sure.
Let's try. Because
but, is it a PowerPoint or a video?
About what we were kind of talking about before, with like a main focus with journalism worldwide. I know that you have come to the US as well. What did you kind of notice that was similar, like a similar journalism taught throughout Brazil and international reporting? Is there kind of a standard? Is there something that's like overall throughout the board that's really talked about?
Sofia, I could tell you that since the beginning, when we can talk about this on another live, but since the beginning, Brazil has followed American way of journalism, you know, about radio and television. Let me Bia, Bia, nós espelhamos muito o modelo americano aqui no Brasil, por favor.
We mirror our journalism from like the United States to Brazil.
Mm. In radio and television, and we follow this model, this American model, you know, since the 40s, 1940s, something like this. But you know, something that you should know, that even though we follow a lot of American way of news, something like this, we at the same time we do our spice to this, you know, we do like a Brazilian way to this model, you know.
Yeah,
this happens here.
I love that. And I have noticed with Brazilian news as well, it's a little more graphic than American journalism or American news in when it comes to deaths or accidents or different things like that, because in America it's very censored. Everything is very they don't show a lot of things on TV, and I kind of noticed that it's more, yeah, sorry if it was a little confusing, but it's a little more graphic when it comes to certain stories in Brazil.
Yeah, it started in newspaper. You know, we have here Folha de São Paulo. It's a very famous newspaper here that really made a difference in the graphic way. It started in 1980s, and I think it went to television, you know, this graphic way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, in CNN reporting, they were showing some graphics also. Isn't that so? You're saying that is not so common?
Mm-hmm. It's not. A lot of the news outlets here are very, I guess they try to protect us from images or to, I'm not entirely sure why, but there's a very big argument on what can be shown and what should be shown compared to more of like violence or like sexual nature or different things like that, or even like has to do like a story that has to do with drugs. They're not allowed to show like actual drugs on television as well, which is they try to censor it a lot just to kind of appease everybody that's watching the television.
Here in Brazil, they show everything you can imagine in every different channel. It's yeah, we are very visual in this aspect. Yeah. We have, yeah, they show everything here. Yeah, if you now you're saying that the when I was there watching ABC and local reporting, yeah, it's different. They don't show a lot. Yes, you're right about this, Sofia.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But here we show everything.
And I think that I don't know. I think that that's a little bit more important, because sometimes the story, especially when it has to do with violence or death or anything, people don't really grasp it as much here. Like they don't really understand how it impacted a family or how it impacted the community around them, because we don't see that those types of images or those visual images that we that come from it. And so I noticed a lot that you guys kind of show that, which is interesting.
Yeah, you could write an essay about this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can.
You Sophia could write about this. This is very interesting point. You should maybe show to your friends or to your professors I think this is something very interesting.
Maybe I'll write an article about it and send it to you.
Okay, I'd like to finish with this, guys.
Okay.
What could be, what I would like to see about Brazil when I'm abroad. When I say this, I say when I'm in Europe or in America. Good news from Brazil, right? Like here, Helena Rizzo. She is a Michelin chef. She's Brazilian, and has a very here in Brazil we have a very strong gastronomy, and it should be more it should be more reporting abroad. You don't know about this. We have a very good gastronomy here. I think you don't know about this, right?
No, sorry, I was muted. No, we don't.
Yeah, no, I had no idea. So.
Are you seeing the PowerPoint?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Education. Here in our universities, as USP, here Universidade de São Paulo, here in the city, the most famous and important here in Brazil, they develop a mechanical pulmonary ventilator. And it was really cheap. And nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that. And it works. So you see something very nice that we could have seen abroad. And the final one, entertainment. Yes, we have here some soap operas also, but we are better than Mexico stuff. You can, okay. And we have here another kind of soap operas and series. And we won this Emmy. It was last year. It was the second or third year that we won this Emmy, International Emmy. And it's very important. It's very relevant, right? Have you ever heard about these and these productions from Brazil?
No, I haven't, but that's really exciting.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to stop sharing it. Yeah. That's why I'm saying we just hear about violence, corruption, COVID-19. Okay, unfortunately, it is true. But we have more than this, and we don't see this. I forgot we don't see this.
Pode falar em português, eu te ajudo.
Eu queria dizer reverberando lá fora, mas reverberando eu esqueci.
Mas até aí nem eu sei o que é reverberando.
I'm looking for a very hard verb. Vou procurar aqui, Bia, peraí.
Tá.
Maybe you don't see it in more of a light. You don't see Brazil in more of a light. We only see it in like a dark kind of way.
Maybe, but even I don't know the word that she's talking about. It's too hard, too fancy to know.
It's too fancy.
Yeah. We say that like these hard words that we use like in articles and research, they are like really fancy to use around.
Here at Google Translate, they're saying that this verb that I'm looking for is reverberate. Do you know what it means? It means what people hear about us. Reverberate. I don't know. I'd like to see my country and these conquerors reverberate in a very good way outside and abroad,
Yeah.
Because here in Brazil, I don't know if you know, guys, but here in Brazil, we hear a lot of America, but we also hear good stuff. We have correspondents that live in California, Florida, New York, and they actually they do the reporting from the streets. So it's very nice. So here in Brazil, we hear good and bad stuff, but I don't see the vice versa,
Yeah, and we should have that kind of two-way street where it goes both ways.
Yeah.
And you know, for just to finish, as we are talking about reporting from during the pandemic, COVID-19, I think the most terrifiable, mais terrível, most terrifying situation was to get the virus. You know, you don't know. You do everything you can, but you don't know.
Yeah.
And our correspondents that are living in the United States, they are wearing 2 masks now when they do the reportings. They're wearing 2 masks, but they didn't get the virus.
Oh, good. That's why a lot of our journalists here were kind of upset with the vaccine, where they were not saying that journalists were essential workers. And it was, I mean, I work at ABC7 in Los Angeles, and I was hearing from like some of my bosses that they were kind of upset that since a lot of the journalists were out in the streets and they were covering the protests and they were there, like you're literally in the middle of everything, and they the government wasn't considering journalists as essential workers or somebody who needed the vaccine in order to be out there. So a lot of the journalists felt uncomfortable covering some of the stories because it was putting them at risk with their health.
But I think it happened around the world. I haven't seen any journalist that had been vaccinated because he was essential to the profession. And here in Brazil is the same. It's the same. It's the same.
It's unfortunate, and I agree with you. I hadn't heard of any journalist, even in London at BBC, which is one of the most very obvious. It's so prestigious, and they weren't even like making exceptions for them. So it's very interesting hearing that.
So I talked about some words we could
reiterate. What was number 1?
Does anybody remember?
Stereotypes.
Yes.
Second one was immersion.
Immersion. Sorry if my my misspelling.
The third one. You remember, Bia, the third one?
Third one? Oh my God, I just put 2 here. Stereotypes and immersion.
The third one was in there.
No, when I said that the report, the journalist is ready when he's walking and he is not noticed as a foreigner. So he's really ready for that.
What would that would be like? Living amongst the residents, or being in I don't know how, like being more of a local.
Yeah, maybe socially. Oh my God, I don't know how to put this, but.
No, but it's okay. Living as a local, something like this. And the last one was always to be, not always to be, but yeah, we were talking about the vaccine, that the journalists weren't able to get that.
So I guess, yeah, I'll just say like vaccine.
Consider as essential worker in the society.
I don't know if in English, Bia, we can also say agenda setting. Do you guys talk about this, agenda setting?
Yes.
Yes. I think Brazil, Brazil, Brazil must change its agenda setting, you know, we need to make a better work with that. I always said that.
Me and Jessica, we are having a class that talks a lot about agenda setting.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about you next week. Like there's one professor you would love. I'm in her international journalism class, and all of this whole thing just applied to the class. So I'm excited to talk to her.
Is it Professor Wall?
No, it's Eisenstock.
Oh,
Yeah.
Professor.
Yeah.
Wall. You have to meet some of these professors. They are wonderful.
Yeah.
True.
They're on it. Yeah.
The last thing I remember something very important when I was in Albany. We have as an international respondent, we must respect the culture. Respect the culture. It's probably is different from yours, but you can't change that. You must not change that. So just to make an example for you guys, here in Brazil we have lunch, we have a meal, we have something very delicious that when when you all came here, you come here in Bia's house, we are going to make a feijoada and something like this we have here in Brazil. But what I mean is, for me, was very different and strange not having a meal in the middle of the day, and you just have like hamburgers, lunch. Okay, here in Brazil we do have a meal. So this is culture. Yeah. In Brazil is different. If I say to you guys, oh, let's have a lunch here in Brazil, in São Paulo, in Avenida Paulista, the most famous avenue here, I'm not going to take you to eat hamburgers. I'm going to take you to eat in a restaurant, a meal. But I was in New York. I went to a meeting, and we had a meeting during the lunch, and we were talking and eating the lunch at the same time in the table. For us, it's different, you know. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen
every day. That's very American. I have to point that out.
It's different here. So it's culture. You have to respect the culture. The cultures are different, you know. They are not worse or better. They are different. This is very, very important.
Yeah. Here's like sacred, the lunch time. So we never work or study while we are doing this.
That's like dinner here.
Yes.
Yeah, like,
but here in Brazil, we have the breakfast, we have the lunch, we have the dinner, we have a lot of meal.
That's kind of like in Mexico. They actually used to in Mexico I don't know if they still do it now, but before they would literally send everybody home for 2 hours in the day. And that was like either your nap time or you would go eat a meal at home. All of the students would go back home and then go back to school or go back to work or anything. But that it was usually between like 12 and 2 o'clock that time is like so sacred in the culture that it's like you have to do that. And I know that some places in Mexico still do that to this day, but it's
Spain, Argentina, a lot of countries do that. It's called here as siesta. It is a Spanish word.
Yes.
Siesta, the nap, siesta. Spain, it works the same way.
Yes, yeah, it does. But Lenize, am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah.
Lenize, thank you so much for coming on today. I know that it's late for you over there, but we absolutely adore you here at the RTDNA. I cannot tell you enough how much I appreciate you coming on. I think you are so very smart, and I think that you have such wise things to say. So thank you so much.
I love talking to you guys. We really love talking to you. And if I may, we can maybe in the future, I don't know, we can talk about this mirror that I talked to you about Brazilian journalism to American journalism since the 1940s, and how it went through the decades. But as I said before, the Brazilian news and TV and radio broadcasting, it really focus on American way of doing that, but to have this Brazilian spice to that, right?
Yeah.
It's different. Maybe in a new opportunity we can talk about it.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
I would love to have you again here.
Yeah,
Seriously.
no, let's have you back.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate
it. So
well, I'm unfortunately graduating this semester. I mean, for me, but unfortunate for the RTDNA, and I hope to see you again in the future. If not, I have to come down to Sao Paulo. I will come with you.
Please, we're going to love it here. Normally, when foreigners come